Common Council for Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. Has appropriate meeting notification been made?
Yes, Your Honor, it has.
Would we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for coming on such a beautiful evening. Call roll, please.
Alderman Douglas.
Here.
Alderman Rozak.
Here.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Here.
Alderman Ellis.
Here.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Here.
Alderman Mulder. Alderman Shellpepper.
Here.
Alderman Maroney.
Here.
We'd like to move on to Diane Conan, our city clerk, to do the ceremonial oath of office for the newly elected officials.
I just always do it this way.
I'm going to invite our newly elected officials who were elected by the citizens on April 2nd. So if Mayor Robert Meggs would join me up front here, please. And if Alderman District 1 Matt Mulder would join me up here, please. And Alderman District 2 Charles Shellpepper would join me up here. Alderman District 3, Matt Rozak, if you would please join me up here. And Alderman District 4, Jennifer Altman-Cloth, if you would also join us up here. So, I will swear you in, and after I'm done swearing you in, I'm going to walk away too quick. All please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support Constitution office if you've been elected, and that is Mayor Daniel Conway, Robert. Alderman, District 1. Alderman. You have all been elected. Congratulations for your third term. Congratulations. There you go. All take your seat.
Good job. Last time.
You're right.
Well, thank you, elected officials. I'm looking forward to the next couple of years, and thank you all for your dedication to the city. I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of minutes for April 2nd, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any comments or questions from citizens in the audience? Seeing no comments or questions from citizens in the audience, I would request from council that we move item 11A forward, which is a mayoral citizen appointments and reappointments for council consideration. Any objections for moving that forward in the agenda?
No.
With no objections noted, we'd like to present to the council for reappointment and new appointments, citizens that are willing to give their time, energy to do wonderful things within this community. The council has received all of those packets. Diana, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So in your packet, there is the spreadsheet of citizen appointments, and we have highlighted all the individuals who are being reappointed and/or new appointees. After that, you will find the application and/or resume for all of the individuals except for 3 of them. They've been serving for a very long time, and we have tried to get an application for them, but we've just haven't had the success so far. They've, like I said, they've been serving for a very long time. Bruce White, 17 years, Scott Antino, 14 years, and, who's the last one? I'm sorry, I didn't write that down. Dick Whalen. So, those gentlemen, though, want to be reappointed and have agreed with the mayor to be reappointed. So there's only one brand-new appointee, and that's Nicholas Nagel. I have not met him. Are you in the audience, sir?
Yeah, we have several new appointees.
Well, they've been on other committees,
They have,
but
but
new
new
appointees
appointees for
for the
positions.
positions.
Correct.
So, hi. So that is a new appointee, so brand new to serving the city. I don't know if the aldermen want to ask him any questions or not, but he is here if you would care to do that.
I'm sorry, I guess I don't have the, can I borrow this little sheet?
Sure.
I'm not seeing it in my packet. And what's Nick being appointed to?
Board of Review.
Board of Review.
And CDA, yeah. You'll be on CDA with him.
Right, CDA and Board of Review, two committees.
And then who else is new on a new committee? Who's
Well,
getting
Ben
put in?
Otten will be new on the Architectural Committee. So.
Is Ben
Is
here?
Ben here?
He said he was coming, so I don't know if there's a conflict.
In the packet, there's also some drawings after Ben's resume and application that he provided. So we've included those in the packet for him.
And several of those drawings are actually from his grandmother, who was one of the founders of the Festival of the Arts. And he grew up and was raised here. And I was very excited to be part of the Architectural Commission. I apologize. He had committed to come, but maybe something came up and I'm not aware of that.
Well, I mean, my only comment, I usually like these folks to be here, but we've gone through this for a lot of years, and I trust, I know the Architectural Commission, he has to be an architect, so, and that person can also, doesn't actually have to be a resident of the city, so if the mayor, you're comfortable with him, I'm happy to move him forward without him being here tonight.
I'm very comfortable with him. He lives in Pewaukee, just from, some of the questions before. Born and raised here, wants to come back and move here, is trying to find some place to move back here, and he works here in town.
He has some pretty solid references as well.
Really, and a nice young man. He would be replacing Kurt Schrang.
And then, as far as Nick, I think you spoke to us recently, didn't you? I did. Okay. And since then, you've decided to become more involved with this process? Okay. And look, you got your number one and
Nick,
number two.
Nick,
Yeah.
can you come
Yeah.
up to the podium, please? Thanks.
You got your number one and number two choices, too. That's a first.
Fantastically lucky, I guess.
I just out of curiosity, what do you think you can bring to the CDA is kind of in a transitionary kind of period where I think we want to do more with it, but we haven't really done much. What is your interest in the CDA, if you just, or some ideas maybe? I know it's new and it's kind of, but if you've got something.
Just having lived various places throughout the country and seen the evolution of towns as they grow and that sort of thing, I'm just interested in making sure we maintain Oconomowoc as the best it can be. I mean, out of anywhere I could have moved, this is where I chose, so I'm going to be here for a while, and I want to make sure that it stays as great as it is.
Well, I appreciate that. That's really the only question I had for you.
I have one. You were in District 3 and chose District 1, is that correct?
Yeah, we moved from farms for a little under a year next to.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Wow.
I wanted to thank Nick for putting his hat in for these things. He had gotten to know, he lives in District 1, and he'd gotten to know Matt, and then had reached out to me, and we'd had some conversations, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying publicly, but he may be looking for an aldermanic bid for District 1 down the road. So it's nice to see him getting involved with some encouragement from Matt and I, so thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions with regard to any appointments?
The only other one I had.
Just wanted to make, I'm sorry, one more note. Carl Wickman has been serving on the Zoning Board of Appeals, but the mayor is
You can sit down, Nick.
putting him
Thanks.
on Plan Commission now, which he would be, he's a replacement for
Ken
Ken
Brotheridge.
Brotheridge.
Carl, would you like to come up to the podium, please?
There he is.
Can you just give a brief background of your business background and how it relates to Plan Commission?
Since 1985, I've been employed in the construction industry, both in Boston and in the Madison area, and for the last 20 years, until I retired on March 1st, in the Milwaukee market. Was the project manager and estimator for the community center. When I worked for Fendorf, I was responsible for putting the budgets together on that. In my role, I was involved many times with zoning boards and architectural review commissions, and saw the process working from that side many times, having to make presentations to boards like this, school boards, that type of thing. I was also involved heavily in the last, when they built the 2 middle schools for the school district. So I've had a lot of involvement in the development here in Oconomowoc, as well as around the region.
Any questions for Mr. Wickman?
No, I mean, just other than planning commission can deal with some, at times, pretty dicey issues. You feel comfortable asking some tough questions. I think that's, okay, good. I mean, that's, to me, that's what we've been kind of missing on the planning commission is there's some questions asked and there's some kind of debate, but then there's others that have just kind of sit there. I mean, I think the planning commission is really the chance for the folks that sit on this dais before it comes to council to really dig deep on projects coming in. So maybe selfishly, we don't have to as much, but also so that there's another set of voices from the community that isn't us, you know, that can dig deep, look at these projects carefully, maybe send them back to the drawing board if they don't like them, instead of just kind of passing things on to us all the time with very little commentary. So I hope that you're willing to do that.
I am.
Good, okay.
And Carl, I asked Carl to join Plan Commission about 2.5 years ago.
Yep.
But while he was still employed in that industry, we felt there'd be conflicts of interest. So when I found out he retired, I called him, and I got a very fast yes. So we've known the family, and he's been very involved in the community. I think will be a great addition.
Just retired.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Carl.
you.
Any other comments or questions from council on these appointments? Because I'd like to
Make a motion
entertain.
to approve the mayor's appointments as presented.
I'll second. Altman Cloth.
Any further questions or comments? Please call roll.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Great, thank you very much, and thank you all for coming tonight. You're welcome to stay. We have a really vibrant, fun evening ahead. But if you do want to leave, please feel free to stop out at this time, and please drive safely in the weather. So thank you again for coming. We're going to move on to our next item, which are consent agenda items. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve or pull anything out that you would like further discussion.
Motion to approve consent agenda item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. On to committee reports. We'll start with Finance. Consider act on the approval of the first quarter 2024 grants and donations received and budget amendments, January 1 to March 31st, 2024. Ms. Sullivan Murray.
Thank you. So in front of you, you have the first quarter 2024 donations and grants for the city and a few separate budget amendments. So this quarter, the first quarter of 2024, the grants and donations total $12,836. There's a list of the various donations in your packet. We also have 4 budget amendments this quarter. The first being the grants and donations. The second authorizes use of fund balance reserves from previous donations. So basically, that means we got the donation in a different quarter, a previous quarter, and the expenses were in the first quarter. The third amendment authorizes the transfer of unspent canine donation funds to its own special fund. So we had kept that in the general fund before. Since this is an ongoing expense, the canine and the ongoing donations, we've decided to make it its own separate fund, so you can always see what the fund balance is in there, and it just gives them better financial reporting. And then the fourth amendment is to allocate crew wages for the first quarter. So as I explained at finance, this is the first year that we're doing this, just to make budgeting for crew wages and it to be more transparent through the year of where we're at now with crew wages, either over or under budget. We've put this together a little bit differently. We budget all the crew wages in one area and then quarterly allocate it down to where it was used. So if it's snow and ice or elections or, you know, parks crews, wherever they're being used, so that we don't have all 30 of those different accounts kind of over and under budget. I think this will give us a more transparent and easier way to take a look at wages. You will see this budget amendment quarterly, each quarter in 2024.
Questions, comments? Like to entertain a motion?
So moved.
Any further questions or comments? Call roll, please.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shell-Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Our next committee reports from Utilities. Consider act on Resolution 24-R3186, declaring authorized representative to request grant funding from the Municipal Flood Control Grant Program. Mr. Freeber and Mr. Jost.
Eric walk through and of the presentation showing the areas that we're talking at for applying for the grants for.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Eric Jost. I'm the watershed manager for the wastewater treatment plant's adaptive management plan known as the Oconomowoc Watershed Protection Program. Stream I'm looking to conduct a project on is known as Gulf Course Creek, Cottonwood Creek, the river that flows under Lac La Belle Drive on the northern portion of Lac La Belle. It has been known as a culprit of sediment over the past many years. Project location is on the northern reaches of this stream section. It is on a property boundary of the Waukesha County and a private landowner. It consists of about 1,850 linear feet. This is a picture taken from the stream this winter. Up on the upper left-hand side is a buckthorn choked bank. Buckthorn leaves bare soil, which is prone to erosion, causing sloughing down into the stream, which is in the yellow circle. Gravity and rain and wind have deposited that sediment there. That sediment alters the stream current, which is in blue, and shoves the current over to the other bank, which is circled in green and causing erosion on a bank that had not had erosion there in the past. This is a preliminary design of the stream project that is being proposed. It is going to, in effect, reduce the velocity of the stream coming down, which reduces erosion from the erosion potential, and a less erosion means less phosphorus making its way into Lac La Belle. Less phosphorus in Lac La Belle means less potential for severe algae blooms. Lac La Belle is impaired for total suspended solids as well as total phosphorus. Technical details of the project will be to stabilize the banks, increase the sinuosity, which means increasing the meandering volume of the river, which will hold more water, increase the floodplain retention, slow down the amount of water going through the golf course where a prior stream project has taken place, this project will enhance the benefits from the project downstream and so forth. Lower phosphorus concentrations in the Oconomowoc River mean a benefit to our adaptive management plan at the end of our 15-year term when we are required to have compliance by proof at the confluence of the Oconomowoc River and the Rock River. Cost and funding for the project, I am going for 2 grants of the Municipal Flood Control Grant and the Targeted Runoff Management Grant for this stream construction. In effect, with the partners combined and applying for all the grants, I expecting to shoot for near 70 to 80, 90% of the project completion through grants. If there's any questions, thank you.
Questions or comments from council?
What's the result of having less phosphorus in the lake? I mean, what's the practical implications of that?
Phosphorus is the element that causes, it's what algae feed off of. Like we breathe oxygen, they take phosphorus. So the more phosphorus there is, especially total phosphorus, which is the type that is available immediately for plants, which algae to take, that'll promote algae blooms. So more phosphorus means more intense algae blooms or longer algae blooms, as well as
Increased weed growth.
increased weed growth.
Okay, so you think we should have, less algae growth on the top and less weeds because of this? I mean, you think we'll see actual changes to the lake because of it, or?
Can we go back? Going back to that specific image on the right,
Yeah,
I would expect that plume to be influenced.
Okay.
The lake in itself has a lot of residency time with water and soil concentration, but I have other slides that go back, and year after year after year, there is sediment plumes gone out of that river. I think if we're gonna notice effect, it's gonna be there.
Alderman Mulder?
Is the stream all on the farmer's property, or whose property is that?
It borders County of Waukesha as well as the farmer.
Okay.
Both are partners in the project and both providing significant resources towards cost sharing.
Great.
Alderman Rozak?
Just for the record, we actually asked quite a few questions too during the utility committee meeting. I just have one kind of general question, and just kind of been bugging me since the meeting. When we go in and do this repair to the river, aren't we kind of doing something that's unnatural? I mean, isn't the river in a natural state now? I mean, doesn't trees grow and soil disintegrate near rivers and lakes, and creates new rivers and lakes over time? I mean, is us messing with it the best thing, I guess, is the question.
You are correct on that. A river will find its path that it wants to go. We, in effect, have messed with it years and years and years ago, back probably World War I, when the number one concern was food production in the United States, so increased ag land. So a lot of these streams were straight-lined, which means going on with an excavator, reducing their natural footprint, making it straight, in turn made a faster-growing river. And then the buckthorn growing on one side is kind of accelerating Mother Nature's process of re-meandering and finding its new stream bed, which is in effect losing private land as well as county land.
Gotcha.
So this is mitigating an accelerated effect by an invasive species.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Rozak, so moved.
Second, Ellis.
Any further questions or comments? Call roll, please.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Next item, consider act on resolution 24-R3187. It's a budget amendment to reclassify capital project return, activated sludge pipe replacement to wastewater treatment plant facilities plan. Mr. Freeber.
As part of doing our septic receiving station that we just took and did plans and specs and sent to the state of Wisconsin's DNR has basically said that they won't accept any more projects at the treatment plant until we do an updated facilities plan. So we have projects that we had for capital projects for this year. I'm basically asking to take some of that money and do a design facilities plan for the wastewater treatment plant. And this is basically a pathway to the future. They look at our upcoming limits that at the treatment plant that we'll be applying for in 2025, and they'll take and figure out, okay, what's the best way to hit those limits for the 2025 and 2030 permits.
Questions or comments from council? Alderman Rozak.
Kevin, how long will the next plan, you think, be good for? So the last time, I think in the committee meeting, you said last time we had a plan was 07, 08, so 16 years ago.
Yeah, they're usually, they say 20 years, but they're, DNR really, they want them a little close, especially a lot closer with the regulations changing. I mean, you're gonna have PFAS, they're gonna be talking about total nitrogen at the treatment plant. We've mentioned biological phosphorus removal and hopefully upgrade or be able to do energy efficiency by burning our methane gas, so that's all gonna be part of that study.
Yeah, PFAS is a big deal right now. I mean, it's not fully regulated yet, but they're on the course to fully regulating it, so.
Yeah, the states, the EPA has put the low limits in, and now the state's gonna have to promulgate those.
Yeah.
So
Is this something we should maybe be budgeting for in the future, like every 10 years maybe? Should this maybe kind of be incorporated into a budget for future reference?
yeah, we'll probably do, I would recommend that we put it in there and we do an updates every 10 years of the facilities plan. That way-
Regardless, so that we're
yeah,
up to speed, so we don't
That
have
way
to
it's
stop a
continuously
project.
stays, yep.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Other questions, comments? Like to entertain a motion?
So moved, Ellis.
Second.
Any further questions or comments? Call roll, please.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Next up are 4 Plan Commission items. We'll start with our first one. Consider act on the final plat map for the Old Highlander subdivision located at the intersection of Old Highlander Drive and Pabst Road. Mr. Gallo.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. We have a few Plan Commission items that were recommended to you this evening. This is on the agenda tonight for final approval. The first one is the final plat for 64 residential units. I chose this slide because it shows the general development plan that the council approved for this area. So you can see this was approved in 2023. We actually just amended it at, I think, our last meeting. But the initial approval was in 2023 for this area. Well, Olympia Hills was approved in '23. We did not amend this one. So the area that we're talking about tonight with the 64 residential units is the area shaded in blue. It kind of follows that road along, and now it's outlined in red. So you can see the 64 lots right here. So the subdivision plat that was submitted conforms with the general development plan as well as the preliminary plat. This is what the Old Highlander final plat looks like. So you can see those areas that I outlined on the general development plan. If you're just looking at this, you might not know where it is, so that's why I wanted to include this overall map of the area. So this is called out as Phase 1. There's obviously going to be many other phases to kind of finish this, but this is the area that they want to get working on. They have been out there putting in all the infrastructure. The asphalt plants aren't open yet, so they haven't paved the road, so they won't get building permits until these lots have safe access to them through a road. So Plan Commission did recommend approval of this plat, and I know the applicant from Newman Development, Eric, is here to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments from council?
Yeah.
Alderman Ellis.
Yeah, I have noticed, well, I think everybody has, that the roads over there are not paved at this point. Do we have an ETA of when that's going to happen, or when we're going to open that up again, or?
If we could have the applicant come up, please identify yourself at the podium.
Good evening, my name is Eric Obarski. I'm with Newman Developments. We hope to be paved out there probably within about a month. Asphalt plants typically open up like mid-April, end of April. We're working through proof rolling and getting in some of the last of the utilities right now. So from the time that we proof roll in stone till the time that we have actual binder down is usually about a 30-day period. So we're anticipating, we're working with the Weingart Group in Mandel right now, and we're telling them that we expect to be paved by about mid-May.
And are you going to be going all the way down to the fire department, over there, or are you gonna stop it where it is now?
What will be paved right now is the red outline that you see, but also all of Pabst Road. So what we're bringing in right now is Phase 1 of our residential development.
Okay.
What we are constructing out there is all the infrastructure for this, but also all the infrastructure that runs on Pabst Road. So what we will pave, and actually what we're going to pave first will be Oconomowoc Parkway north to that Pabst Road connection, get Stu and get the Mandel Group paved so they can be getting in and out of their site.
Right.
And then we go to the west and pave. That will all happen kind of at the same time with the focus on Pabst Road first.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Mulder.
Just out of curiosity, do you know what the next phase is going to be?
Yeah, actually, we're going to be going to the west. So the red line that you see. You can use this. Oh, perfect. So we will be going to the west on a couple lots here up to about this point. Different colors are different sizes. So we need to bring some more of these lots online, the estates lots. So we'll be going here, and we will also be going up to this intersection right here. So we'll be building these lots through here and then headed this way. And we anticipate starting construction on that this spring, summer, and hope to have those paved this fall. So,
Comments and questions? Thank you. Alderman Maroney?
So the Oconomowoc Parkway, as far as the pavement goes, is that on the same schedule as the Paps Road connection?
we're not actually involved in what's going on in Oconomowoc Parkway right now.
That's a city project, Alderman Maroney.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to see if everything is gonna kind of come together at that point, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
From discussions I've had, I think it's going to be close.
Okay.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion.
So moved, Ellis.
Second.
Any further comments, questions? Call roll, please.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Next item, consider act on the condominium plat for the Reserve at Old Highlander located at the intersection of Old Highlander Drive and Sterling Drive. Mr. Gallo.
At the same time, we've also received a condominium plat, and in this community, we do have to go through and treat these like a subdivision plat. Some communities don't, but we do in Oconomowoc. So again, this is their general development plan that we approved. And in the center of the area here, there was condominiums. So we're looking at this little blue area for a location. So it's hard to define where these really are, but you know, this is the ski hill, so it's behind the ski hill area. But I outlined the area of the plat in the blue area right there. It consists of 6 residential units, 3 buildings. So you can see the overall condominium is outlined in this black. Tonight, we're looking at just these 3 in the red. It's the first phase, and it does conform with the general development plan. You know, the location, the access, the general footprint area, it does match that. So those are the 3 units for, or 3 buildings for 6 units. Here they are on the plat, and all of this area that's grayed out will be future phases. This is quite typical. These are called expandable condominium plats. The banks like to finance only sections at a time. They don't want to do the whole thing. So the 3 in here. So this is just condominium plat of the Reserve at Old Highlander. And then the next one will be, you know, phase 1 or 2 or addition 1 or something like that. So what are these? They're pretty much ranch style condominiums. They're duplexes. 1,812 square feet per unit. So they do have basements, and then they have a first floor.
Questions or comments from council?
Plan Commission did recommend approval.
Like to entertain a motion?
So moved, Ellis.
Second, Altman-Cloth.
Any further questions or comments?
I just think it should have been Ye Old Highlander.
The old
Would have
Highlander.
fit better.
Yield. All right, any further other comments? Call roll, please.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
On to consider act on the certified survey map for Olympia Fields located at 1350 Olympia Fields Drive. Mr. Gallo.
Thank you. Staff did receive a certified survey map to reconfigure these lots here on Olympia Fields Drive and Pabst Road. This aerial is a little outdated, but there is the roundabout that is in the Olympia Fields area right here in this area, so it's right on the corner. It's kind of an interesting parcel. It's actually dividing one parcel that consists of 2 lots into 2 lots, so it's just reconfiguring them. Lot 1 will be 4.8 acres. It's the larger lot to the south, and then the one to the north would be 2.27 acres in size. Here's an enlargement of that area. I say it's 2 lots because there was some previous CSMs that created a lot going across here, and through the purchasing of various parcels, Vanguard does own all of the land, but they want to reconfigure it so they can put this mixed-use building on it. I tried to Photoshop that the best I could without using the software that I have, but I know you're always interested in, well, what's going to happen here? We
You have a
don't
new
have an answer
career.
for Lot 2, but Lot 1, we know this building is going to be going there. So that's what they intend on putting there. You can kind of see the roundabout and everything.
I think it
So,
was well done, Jason.
thank you. It gets the point across, yeah. So, the Plan Commission did recommend this, and they recommended it on April 3rd.
Questions or comments for Mr. Gallo or for the applicant? Done a nice job. I'd like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Further questions or comments? Call roll.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Consider act on the architectural plans for the Olympia Fields mixed-use building located at 1350 Olympia Fields Drive.
Okay, we have the mixed-use building, the certified survey map that we just acted on and approved the lot for this. So now this is our architectural review. Back in 2021, and this is the one that was revised last month, you adopted an ordinance for the PD, and this is in a TIF area as well. You want to be very careful using public funds, with this development. You said that the buildings will have their final building design approval to be by the Architectural Commission and then reviewed and approved by the Common Council. So that's right in the ordinance, so they have to do it. It's a law, and we don't do this very often, but again, there was a lot of exceptions being granted for the site, and you wanted to see, because at that point, we didn't know what it would look like. So this was the overall PD that was approved for the Olympia Fields area. You may recall that. And this is the area that we're talking about. You can see there's two buildings there right by the roundabout. So that's the two buildings. And this is what they're coming in with now today. That's the site plan. So I put them side by side so you can kind of see the difference. There has been some slight changes and a lot of similarities. One of the changes is it was two buildings and now it's kind of more like a one building. And there's parking along the two streets. This is Olympia Fields Drive and this is Pabst Road. There's parking in front and there wasn't before. So this parking field here has been changed and reduced in size. So there was some changes, but for the most part, I think from a planning standpoint, this is in compliance and very similar to the approved general development plan. The access are in the same spots. The parking is primarily in the same spot. The building is primarily the same. So what is this building? It's a mixed-use building, and some of you might not know what that means. Well, it's different land uses. We have retail 1, there's a 4,000 square foot spot here, a restaurant that's 3,000 square feet, a retail that could take the whole thing or could be subdivided, 7,300, and then a spot geared for another restaurant too, and then some outdoor dining areas, and then there's a club room over here. So there's about 19,000 square feet of non-residential space, and then 116 apartment units. So again, this is the site plan. The building is shown here. Access to the underground is right here. That goes into the underground parking, which I'll show you that. There's a total of 131 surface parking stalls. We don't know what the uses are going to be in that retail, but staff is comfortable. We looked at some of the more intense uses, and then there's the 116 apartments as well. So you're saying 131, that's a pretty low number for parking, but there's actually 111 indoor parking stalls as well. So there's a total of 242 stalls for the 116 units plus the non-residential use. So we're comfortable with the indoor parking. They did submit, and we reviewed at length the landscaping plan. They do conform with all of the point requirements. They do have some shrubs and bushes out front here to reduce the headlight glare. So we did review this. The Plan Commission did approve that. Lighting fixtures, if you recall, there was lighting standards adopted by this area. And the lighting levels all conform, as well as the fixture types conform to, these matches what the approved design standards was for this area. So now we're getting into the building. You really wanted to know what the building was. You gave a height exemption. So here's the total of the ground floor non-residential areas and then the apartments on top. There was varied step backs. You granted that in the last meeting a month ago with the step back on the top floor. Didn't have to be the entire floor. It could be various areas. And here they are now before you with the plans. It has gone before the Architectural Commission. They did approve this. So we're taking it in the correct order. The Plan Commission also approved the site plans. Regarding the building height, you gave them up to 65 feet. They're at 6311. And then you said an additional 10 feet for screening of non-habitable space. So they're at 70 feet to the top of the screening. So it's kind of a new process because you put it in that ordinance. I didn't know what you wanted to see, but I kind of showed you a little bit of everything. But the Plan Commission did recommend approval, and I'm recommending that the council approve the architectural plans of the mixed-use building so they can go out, get bids, and start construction this year. The applicants are here to answer any questions.
Great. Kind of a long process, but a really nice-looking building. I think it's going to be a great addition to the community. Comments or questions for Mr. Geller or for the applicant from council? Alderman Shellpepper.
Is the section of the building to the south, does that have commercial on the first floor, or is that straight residential?
That is a straight residential. It's a different type of product, but the only commercial is on the northern wing of the building.
Does that still comply with the spirit of what was intended there? Because I thought it was supposed to be a mixed-use building, and that seems to not be mixed use.
Well, the building is mixed use, so.
Well, but when it was two separate buildings, you would have had to have had resident, or commercial over on that second spot. But now, since you're saying it's one building, you're saying it's one building, they no longer need to comply with having commercial on the bottom.
They looked at that extensively. They said that the commercial was not a viable use on that side. They couldn't get users to go over there, so, I don't know, do you want to? The applicant
Please
will respond.
identify your, when you come up to the podium.
Hi, Mark Lake, Wongard Partners. I'm here with Matt Maroney, our CEO of Wongard Partners. When we came in, those two buildings technically were one building. Underground parking, it looked like there's grass between them, but it would have been a covered parking garage. Now, having said that, the side on the south side, which we are actually having as upgraded townhomes, is an area that we call the B side of the development. So you have an A side, which is all out in front, that's on Highway 67, that's where all your good retail square footage leases are gonna come from. The B side, you don't get so much, it faces the Goodwill, it faces the backside of the rest of the multifamily. So we made a decision, we maximized the amount of commercial on the A side of the building, and we reduced it and turned it into a club room and the townhomes on the first floor. We originally were gonna put the weight room and club room and all that stuff at other levels, but we used that on the first floor. In this day and age, with all the new commercial and the market and everything else, we were basically recommended by our brokers to limit the amount of commercial in the building. The building in and of itself is 100% a mixed-use building. It's a mixed-use development. We got multifamily and commercial and in this whole area. So it fits our definition, I believe the definition of the Plan Commission and the Architecture Control Commission.
I just think the style, and I think the idea that it seems that we've been going for and technically, generally promoting has been retail on the bottom floor, residential on the, above that.
That was
And so-
never the intent on our part, to have, because it would have been, we would have been required then to have 30,000 square feet of commercial, which is unattainable.
So we put a lot of thought into this.
Can you identify yourself,
Oh,
please?
Matt Maroney, CEO One Guard Partners. We put a lot of thought into this.
What's your COO?
CEO.
Oh, okay.
So,
Different initial
Stan. So, we had a lot of discussions with our brokers about what is the feasibility of renting that space on the B side. They were not optimistic. And if you take a look at other developments in the Madison market and stuff, if it doesn't have prime traffic counts, the space is vacant. And so I don't think that's in the city's interest. I don't think that's in our interest to have a vacant area of it. We are trying to maximize the amount of commercial space in the building for, financial reasons as well. But just, I think it's too big a risk. I don't think you want to have vacant space on Paps Road as it's going into the single-family side. But good question.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Are you staying on this topic? Because
Yeah.
I'm going to switch a little bit.
Yeah.
He can go and then call in.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm still on this actual
Alderman
issue.
Rozak.
Thanks for coming, Matt.
Yeah, no problem.
I like the building. I'm probably going to vote for it because we have this public-private partnership.
Yep.
But I do agree with Chaz. I think when we gave the height there, at least in my head, and I'd have to look back at all the old documents, but when we gave the height and we gave all those apartments, I think the concept was that there was going to be commercial on the first floor.
Yep.
Very similar to what we just did with Wingspan. We gave them all those apartments, but they have the whole town center, commercial and retail on the first floor.
Yep.
So I do think this is a change. I don't think it's drastic. I actually think the parking and the extra driveway up front is more drastic than the change in the building itself. And I hate it, that part of it. I hate the parking in front of it. I understand why we have to do it if you're gonna have commercial in the townhouses. People wanna park right in front of their townhouses. And if you've got commercial and retail and people pull up, they're gonna wanna pull right up front. They're not gonna know the parking's behind. Functionally, in my head, I get it, but you're gonna have Olympia Field Road, Paps Road, this huge amount of pavement, and then another driveway, and more parking right on driveway. And then on 67, you literally have like a 12-lane highway across that whole swath of space. So I'm surprised our planning commission approved that, all that parking up front like it is. But again, we're in a different situation. If you were developers, fresh coming in, I would say, no way. But we're in this kind of public-private partnership on this massive TIF, and we need the building to be built to make our TIF numbers and to continue hitting our TIF numbers. So we're kind of stuck. So just to be fair, I think Chaz is right. I think that was the envision there.
I'm agreeing. We totally envisioned having commercial on the first floor, but once we got into our market studies and talking to our brokers, they're like, that space is going to be vacant for a long period of time.
And I get it, it's faced weird, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
faced
it is
weird,
faced
right.
weird, I get it, and people drive by, they won't see that, they'll see the stuff up here, but they
Correct.
probably won't see that, and it's
Correct.
part of retail and commercials, the
Correct.
site. But, yeah, so.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
You actually kind of led me into what I was going to bring up.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, good job. Way to cue that up. So when I attended the Plan Commission, this is more for Bob Duffy. If you could just talk about how the changes in this building impacts TIF 7 and the value of it, because I thought that was pretty interesting information at Plan Commission that was shared.
Sure, obviously, as was talked about, right, the public-private partnership as it relates to this, when we built the project plan for TIF 7, we envisioned, or we're always very conservative. I knew I'd get a reaction.
Yeah.
We identified this site of an investment of about $13.5 million. Essentially, this building is roughly going to be probably $40 to $45 million worth of investment in this area, which really puts our numbers from a TIF obligation in meeting all of our debt payments for the infrastructure. So even so the public understands, we invest in infrastructure to encourage investment in increment. And we get paid back by that increment that's happening as it relates to projects. So it's not money directly to the development, it's into infrastructure to pay back our debt, so. And this will definitely do that and put us on a good course through that public-private partnership.
In addition to that, for council members, Bob Duffy, Jason Gallo, and I have been meeting independently with some different brokers to try to better understand our market as well. And there's a lot of confusion going on as to what's really going to do well and what's not. And so we're trying to be as careful as possible to have something that's going to hit it. I agree with you, Chaz. I think initially we planned to have that all be retail. I'm fine because of the location with it being residential. But what I want to do is have a busy building that hits the needs of both the developers and the city. And I don't know what it's going to look like in 5 years or 10 years. We're just trying to give it our best guess. And I think that's what the developer's trying to do. And I have gone into other communities, and some of these larger buildings, those first floor areas are vacant. And I never really paid attention to it until I started looking at this one. So I would concur with your opinion, Mr. Maroney. But it's really up to you, council, to make that decision. I think that it's a pretty nice development, but I think those comments that you guys have made are spot on.
I have one other question.
Yeah, Alderman Rozak.
And maybe, I don't know, Jason, maybe you can answer this. Like I said, I really don't like this other new road that goes in parking in front, but I understand the need for it. But, oh yeah, go back to that slide. So you've got this other entrance on Paps Road here now. That's right next to another, very close to another entrance and the entrance to the roundabout. The other side of the road goes back up to the original connection between the two parcels, which makes perfect sense to me. This other one dropping off here, I don't know, you've got all of this multifamily back here on the new road we just put in. That's a lot of traffic coming in. You also have a lot of traffic coming into this roundabout. Have we looked at that road entrance there carefully and what that's gonna do?
We studied the access points at length. We went back and forth. We feel this is the best case scenario. They do have this major feeder here coming in to get people to this point here, coming down and coming in, and then people can exit. This is a right-in only, so they cannot leave that way. So anyone leaving from this facility will have to go either this way or head out through the apartment project. So there's no one's gonna be making a turn here out this way.
And what about this other entrance then in front of the new townhouses? Is that right in only there too?
Yes, this is a one-way.
That's a one-way too.
Through here. So you can see all the stalls are angled. This is a one-way in and then a one-way out. So this gets you to this intersection here where it's more of a, I'm not going to say controlled because there's no traffic lights there, but it just seems like it's further away from the roundabout and it'll, you know, so we
agree.
We studied this. This was a tough site with all of the movements and all the uses going on.
They wanted 3 at one point.
Yeah.
There have been several iterations of the flow.
Two there is better than 3, but it's going to be an interesting. If there's good commercial retail there, it's going to get busy, and you're going to have this kind of oddballish one-way thing going in and out. But you know, it is what it is.
You can access all the commercial from the back as well. So.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's true with downtown too. But people still have to park right here on the street and wait for a spot, even though there's 20 behind the buildings. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'm not super happy with all that parking up front like that, but that is also different. What's funny too, and I don't mean to be too hard on Matt and his crew there, but you know, the picture we have in our thing doesn't really show that, right? You know, so when the public looks at this, they see this really cool building without cars all parked in front of it. So, you know, it is what it is. I overall, though, I was very in favor of the building and the sizing and the project. So Matt knows and the developer knows. That it's kind of ugly up front. But.
Alderman Ellis?
Yeah, I have a question to Fire, as a matter of fact. Do you have any concerns with all the turns and the parking and things along those lines? If there's a problem with the building, if there's a fire, or if you got to get EMT in there, any concerns?
So actually Deputy Chief May sits on all the planning commission and planning meetings, and we ensure that our cots can get in the elevators, maneuver through the hallways. We work with Matt's team as well. You know, we actually use the specifications. We've got a new ladder going in service in a couple weeks to make sure that that thing can navigate through the parking lot. So that is all part of the design plan. And we review those parking lots and maneuverability.
So you have no concerns at all?
Any other questions or comments? Alderman Moroni.
It's more of just a comment, you know, if you're coming off of the roundabout there, are we sure about like the turns in and out of this complex? Because if, you know, just realistically, if you've never been there before, you come in, you make a split decision, do I go right, do I go left? You know, because one way, you know, goes in from the left, one way goes in from the right. I'm just trying to figure out if we have the right turns into the building, into the complex, from the roundabout.
Won't be able to turn.
If you're coming off the roundabout from Paps Road, from 67, and I'm not sure if I need to go left or right to get in where I need to go, I have to make a split decision at that roundabout. It's more of a comment, but I mean, I don't know if, do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think
If you go to the
If-
right, you can still
you can
get
still
in.
go up here and enter in and then come in here. And if you go through the roundabout, you can go this way in. Or you could go this way and come in through the back. So there's a lot of various access. I think people will find their way. You know, maybe the first time they might be confused, can I go in the back? And I think
Right.
people will eventually figure this out.
Yeah, I was just thinking from a realistic approach. You know, yeah, your first time, you might be a little confused, but over time, I mean, I guess you're saying they'll.
If you see the real retailers' signs and the windows, storefronts here, and you drive past, you'll see, oh, I want to go there, so you turn in, so.
I see.
Any other questions or comments from council members? I'd like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second, Douglas.
Any further questions or comments? Call roll, please.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
On to our next item, we're on to new business. Consider act on the developer's agreement for Prairie Creek Ridge Edition Number 8. Mr. Herzog.
All right, thank you. We really get to go through the full process on development and review. We've gone through CSM, final plats, and now this is a developer's agreement. We've seen these before. This is a continuation of the Prairie Creek subdivision, which is up on the northeast quadrant of the city. And the developer is looking to add about 52 more lots, more single-family homes to this. Is it already been approved through the development of this? And this is going to be a very similar extension as we've seen in the past. But one of the big pieces of this is that it is going to continue Wayland Drive, which is the major road coming off of the county highway. And it's going to connect to County Highway K on the north side. And that kind of gives us more flexibility with this subdivision. We're looking, once this is constructed and once we're able, we'd like to close the truck and construction access off from inside the subdivision and request that they access from the north. So that'll help us out with some of the additional traffic that comes and goes through and in front of the elementary school. And also, you know, the variety of different homes that are there. So once that's complete, that's kind of the intent inside of this agreement. There's also some other stipulations in there to regard and add additional on-street parking for Wayland Drive, which is the major road around it. That'll help support the Northeast Regional Park there. There's a pathway that already goes on the perimeter of that. And once more and more things start to come for the park, this will provide for that additional parking.
Questions or comments for Mr. Herzog? Alderman Mulder.
So that's more parking in addition, I think there's already 100 in those there's 5 bump outs of 20 each?
This is a piece of that 100.
This is, okay, so that's,
Yep.
this isn't an
So we did
addition
one
to
this,
this.
2 phases ago in Phase 5.
Yep.
And this will now be the second and third one. So I think we'll have a total of 60 by the time this is done.
Okay, so it's not an addition to what was already.
Correct. No, this is just a piece of trying to get to that 100.
So when do you think they'll start using access off of K versus through the subdivision?
Well, they're just cutting in the utilities right now.
But this,
By
for this.
the end of this year, maybe?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, good, thank you.
Like to entertain a motion?
So moved.
Rozick, second.
Any further questions or comments? Call roll.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Consider act on the Second Amendment to the tax incremental agreement between Old Highlander LLC and the City of Oconomowoc.
So you will all recall, back in December, we were sitting here talking about the fact that the PSC had put us on notice that we can't acquire the water facilities that are being put into Old Highlander until there was an application. The developer came in and said, you know what, we'll take the risk and we'll put in millions of dollars of water facilities at our own risk because we know they're going to approve it ultimately. And this common council said, if you're willing to take that risk, okay. And so we passed the First Amendment to the Developers Agreement to allow them to put in millions of dollars worth of water facilities. Now they are out there and they're saying, we got our crew out there. And we want to do the rest of the work to actually connect to the city water facilities. And that was not part of the First Amendment. And so you're faced with the same situation with this new amendment that would allow them to hook up to our facilities, not use our facilities, not actually start the water flowing or have any access to the actual municipal water unless and until the PSC approves it. And if they don't, they have to rip it out. So they're willing to do that. And, you know, the PSC is assuring all of us that, hey, we're in the bureaucratic process and, you know, it'll get done and we're looking at May or maybe June. May 14th.
May 14th, okay, well, we'll see. But bottom line is, it's exactly the same as the last time it was before you. And it makes economic sense from, at least, I don't get into policy, but it seems to make economic sense from a common sense standpoint to allow them, once they have everybody there, to just do the rest of this work. If PSC somehow, some way, doesn't approve it, they gotta rip it all out at their dime, and we don't spend a penny. We're covered.
Questions or comments from council? Like to entertain a motion?
So moved, Spiegelberg.
Second.
Any further questions or comments? Call roll, please.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
On to item 11B, mayoral appointments and reappointments. First one up is mayoral appointment of the Emergency Government Director with council confirmation. Ms. Conan.
Sorry, grab the sheet real quick. So the mayor,
You don't know who you're appointing?
He is right there. So.
the mayor is
I'd
appointing
like to
Brad
entertain-
Bowen.
Entertain a motion to approve Chief Brad Bowen as our Emergency Government Director.
Rozick, second.
Any further questions or comments? Call roll, please.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Next up is to appoint our city attorney, assistant city attorney with council confirmation.
Okay.
Ms. Conan.
That would be Mr. Attorney H. Stanley Riffle as city attorney and Jeff Eck as the assistant city attorney, same as last year appointments.
Questions or comments?
Oh, lots of questions.
I'd like to entertain them.
All cross-examination questions.
He's
I'd like
got
to
a new
entertain a
knee.
motion.
Rosick, so moved.
Second, Altman Cloth.
Call roll, please.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis, or excuse me, Altman Cloth. I almost skipped you.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
The next three items, I'm going to turn over to our clerk of courts, or of city clerk, I'm sorry, Diane Conan.
I got a promotion.
Yeah, for you to elect
That doesn't
a
always
council president, elect a council vice president, and select a council representative to the Plan Commission. Ms. Conan.
So at your stations, you have three little packets of what I'll call voting slips. The first little packet is for council president, the second one is for vice president, and the third one is for the Plan Commission representative. So what I would need from the aldermen is someone to make a motion that they want to nominate, and whatever that name is, for council president. I'll need a second, but I will also be asking if there are any other nominations, so as many nominations as council wants to make. Then once those are done, then you will vote your slips and pass them forward so they come to me, and then I will read off the individual's name that council is voting for, and the one who gets the most votes the majority would be the council president. So we'll start with that. So are there any nominations for council president?
I'll nominate Matt Rosick.
You'll nominate Matt Burrows, okay. Is there a second to that?
I have a second.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for council president?
I'll nominate Matt Molnar.
Is there a second to that nomination?
I'll second it.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for council president? I'll ask one more time. Any other nominations? Okay, so now if you would take your slips, please, and write the name of the individual and then pass them forward.
And that is not their first name?
Yes, yes, please.
Unanimous.
I need the last name, please.
Co-presidents?
Duffy is going to be our election, or
Oh, thank you, Bob. Yeah, yeah, I didn't think of that. And then, oh, got them here, I got them. All right. So I'm just going to kind of mix them up and read them off, and I'll mark them. Okay. A vote for Mulder. A vote for Mulder. A vote for Rosick. A vote for Mulder. A vote for Rosick. A vote for Rosick. A vote for Rosick. And a vote for Rosick. So that's 5 votes for Matt Rosick. So he would be the council president. Do I have to have a motion to confirm that?
No.
No, I didn't think so. I just wanted to make sure. So congratulations, Matt Rosick.
thank you.
You are the council president.
Mayor, question. What happens if it's a tie in this situation?
I can't do anything.
Yes, you
Oh,
keep voting.
wow,
We had
okay.
that happen many years ago.
Seriously?
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
when
you
it was
just
Nold and Mike and I, and all of
voting.
us on, it
Thank you.
went around like 5 times.
Okay.
Diane probably remembers that one.
I do. I do. I was afraid I might run out of slips.
Okay, let's move on to
So,
election of the vice president.
Vice President, so I will take nominations for Vice President. Any nominations?
I'll nominate Matt Mulder.
I'll nominate Karen Spiegelberg.
Well,
Wait,
okay, I need a second for
sorry.
Matt Mulder, please. I didn't hear, did somebody say, I didn't know if I heard that. For Vice President.
For VP, Matt Mulder.
Yeah,
Second.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Matt, thank you.
Nicely done, Matt. Nicely done.
You really want this, don't you?
Are there any other nominations for Council Vice President?
Karen Spiegelberg. I nominate Karen.
Is there a second for Karen Spiegelberg?
Do I need to second myself? Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you believe in yourself, Karen?
Are there any other nominations for Council Vice
I'll
President?
nominate Kevin Ellis.
Is there a second for Kevin Ellis?
Second.
What is it?
Precedent set.
Are there any other nominations for Council Vice President?
I want to nominate Alderman Shellpepper.
Oh, dear Lord,
Oh,
right?
this is going to be interesting.
Is there a second for Alderman Shellpepper?
I'll second Shell Pepper.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Wow, this is,
I didn't say I was voting for him.
Are there any other nominations for Council Vice President? I have one more space. Just kidding.
I'm going to nominate Jennifer.
Are you okay? Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Wait.
Is there a
Can we all
second?
just get a
Is there a
participation
second for Jennifer Altman-Cloth?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Is this Mutual Admiration Society tonight, or what?
Well, then I have to ask, are there any other nominations for Council Vice President?
I think it's impossible. You can't
Nominations
make
don't-
a motion and a second. Can't do multiple motions on the same vote. So you can't.
Wait, say that again?
Well,
You can't make. a
only
motion for
5 have
someone
made
and then
a
make
motion.
for someone else.
So, is there no other nominations?
Mr. Andy, you guys interested?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we have nominations for Alderman Mulder, Alderman Spiegelberg, Alderman Ellis, Alderman Shellpepper, and Alderman Altman-Cloth. If you would please write your last name again, if you would write your choice on the slip, and I think Bob's going to collect them for me, and you guys can pass them on my left here.
Oh, Bob's.
I think I gave you each 3 slips.
You can vote multiple times on this, every 3 slips, yeah.
Yeah, well,
That was also a first ever.
that was ever,
10 years on council.
ever.
of
But you
going on
know
my
what?
11.
I'm good at firsts. So the first one I have is for Alderman Shellpepper. I have one for Alderman Ellis. I have one for Alderman Altman-Cloth.
It's going to be interesting.
I have one for Alderman Altman-Cloth. I have one for Alderman Spiegelberg. I have one for Alderman Spiegelberg. I have one for Alderman Mulder. And I have one for Alderman Shellpepper. Here he is. So I have 3 aldermen with 2 votes, Spiegelberg, Shellpepper, and Altman-Cloth, and the other 2 have 1 vote. So now we narrow that down, correct? So now you vote for either Spiegelberg, Shellpepper, or Altman-Cloth as your choice for council vice president.
This is exciting.
This is
No,
the
it isn't.
first round.
It's boring.
Okay, so I'm going to put a line through
It's kind
here.
of exciting.
They're done. You got the 4 there, okay. Yes, it can. All right.
Good job, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. Okay.
Bob, you're like Vanna White tonight.
All right. First one is Spiegelberg. Shell Pepper. Spiegelberg. Altman Cloth. Altman Cloth. Spiegelberg. Shell Pepper. Spiegelberg. I have 4 votes for Spiegelberg, 2 for Shell Pepper, and 2 for Altman Cloth. So Alderman Spiegelberg becomes council vice president. Thank you. So now we go to the Plan Commission representative, the council member Plan Commission representative. I will ask for nominations for that.
I'd like to nominate Alderman Altman Cloth.
Second.
Don't fight over me.
Okay, so Karen Spiegelberg, and I
heard Ellis.
Yeah, well, I heard him too. He was quite loud. Are there any other nominations for council member representative to the Plan Commission? I will ask again if there are any nominations for the council member representative to the Plan Commission. Well, since there are no other nominations, it's unanimous that Alderman Altman Cloth becomes the Plan Commission representative. Congratulations, all. And that takes care of this portion of,
And we'll move on to item 15A, which is a mayoral appointment to council committees for Pabst Farms Joint Sewer Water District and WPPI Energy. There's no confirmation that is necessary for those, but if you would please state who they are for the record.
certainly. So we did put the picture, if you will, up on the screen for the council committees, the Finance Committee, Spiegelberg Chairman, Altman Cloth Secretary, Rosick Member. Personnel, Altman Cloth Chairman, Douglas Secretary, Ellis Member. Protection and Welfare, Ellis Chairman, Mulder Secretary, Shell Pepper Member. Public Services, Shell Pepper Chairman, Douglas Secretary, Maroney Member. Utility, Rosick Chairman, Maroney Secretary, Shell Pepper Member. Library Board, Mulder. Park and Recreation, Maroney and Spiegelberg. CDA, Rosick. Police Commission, Spiegelberg. Tourism Commission, Altman Cloth. Elderly Housing Authority, Ellis. And Comptroller, Spiegelberg. Pabst Farms Joint Stormwater District is staff members Heath Brozovich. Did I say that right? And Jason Herzog. Whippy Energy, staff members Kevin Kari and Mark Fry would be the alternate. And those are the appointments that do not need confirmation.
Under our next item, which are staff reports, with no staff reports coming forth, we're entertaining any comments from aldermen at this time.
Elderly.
Elderly Ellis.
Elderly.
Hey, I used to be on that when it first got organized.
Really?
Any other comments from aldermen?
I just want to thank everyone who came out for the Culvers fundraiser for the Toto's territory, and especially a huge thanks to some of our Park and Rec Department employees that put in some extra non-paid hours coming out to volunteer for that, and that did not go unnoticed. Brian Spencer and Paige and Eric and Jenny Fremming. And I hope I didn't miss somebody.
Fun. We do have one staff report I missed, so Chief Bowen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I apologize. I just real quick, I put a piece of paper in front of each one of you as aldermen. There's 2 special events coming up here in May for the city of Oconomowoc and surrounding areas, but on Wednesday, May 1st, the new ladder truck 53 is going into service at 4 p.m. We're having a retirement ceremony as well as a christening for the new truck. A lot of retirees are showing up, and it'd be great to see you as aldermen come to that community event. It's the 3rd ladder to serve our community since 1964, so. And then on Monday, May 20th, we have our open house at Station Number 1, and we're trying something different. So far, it's got a lot of traction. We're doing Taste of Western Lakes, and we've got some food trucks and other vendors, the police department, Flight for Life, kind of a health and safety fair. So we got a lot of vendors and participation coming to that as well.
May
And-
20th?
Yes, and that's on the backside of your paper.
And Chief Bowen, thank you. Western Lakes put on a really nice lunch and learn type program yesterday for the Oconomowoc Rotary Club. Had a great turnout and did a really nice presentation to share what they're doing at Western Lakes, so thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I did have one other alderman comment.
Yeah, go for it.
First, I thank the council for voting for me for president again. I will do the best I can to, help out the mayor whenever possible, bring in information as quick and as efficiently as I can, and make improvements where I can help. The one thing I really wanted to say, though, is we had a lot of appointments tonight. I think the mayor did a good job finding some new folks. What I do notice is that we have a lot of people continuing on these commissions and committees for a long, long time. And I think it's incumbent upon us to help the mayor find new people. Not saying that, we thank everyone for their service. A lot of these folks have done a really great job, but we kind of are using multiple people in multiple spots. And I think with a community of almost 20,000 people, we ought to be able to find 5 or 6 people to help in some of these roles. And actually appreciate Nick coming out, kind of new blood. That's what we need more of too, just to create new ideas, bring new concepts to these committees, these commissions. So I encourage all of us to go out in the next year and find 2 people that can, put their names in next April for Park and Rec or CDA or Board of Review. And some of these commissions are incredibly boring. I mean, I sat on zoning for 6 years, Diane, I think, 5 years before becoming an alderman. And I mean, there were a lot of long, meetings, but it was important work for the community. So,
But we had some fun.
and we, and Stan was our special counsel on a very large lawsuit that went all the way to the Court of Appeals. So there is fun too, but I think we should all try to bring a couple new names to the mayor for next April. And I think as long as if we all brought 1 or 2, that would be, that'd give him a ton of people to look at and try to put some people and slot some people in these roles. And frankly, give some of these people a break. I mean, I didn't leave zoning commission because no one else was interested when I was doing it. And so I stayed there for years and years and years because no one, volunteered. So that's my comment. I'm gonna try to do it, and follow my own lead and try to do at least, bring 2 or 3 names to the mayor for some roles, so.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
I want to say congratulations to the 4 aldermen who were reinstated tonight. And then to Alderman Rozik's point, it's a great idea. Alderman Mulder brought forth the idea of Nick, and then we engaged. And I think if we are engaged with people in our districts, and we can potentially identify someone who would want to take one of those leadership roles, it would be so wonderful to encourage them, like you said, and keep a rotation involved in everything that we're doing here. And I want to welcome Nick again, so.
Well, and, yeah, also just bench strength for when any of us do step down, right? All 5
That too.
unopposed this time, and there's been many unopposed elections, so it's good to have Nick and others that get some taste of it. So, good point, Matt.
Yeah. Well, to help you understand my strategy, I've always, anybody that's run against an elected official, I've tried to bring them onto a committee. That's what I've been trying to do. I think a lot of the comments, Matt, that you made are spot on. We need to get more people, more community involvement. I also, what you'll look at is some of the larger committees, there's some historic value in some of these people that have been on 10, 15 years. And so as I've done this now my 4th time, There are certain individuals that have been a long time that are really enjoying it, but they bring a lot because they know so much that a new person wouldn't want to be there. So as I look at it, so you understand my approach, I try to look at each one of these different areas based on what's going on, who has the best skill sets, but also some of the inane knowledge that they have. Park and Rec's a perfect example. We have a brand-new director. I've left some people in some of the committees because we have a new director, and I want to try to give that level of stability. So there's no right or wrong way to do it for sure. But I think the message, and hats off to you, Alderman Rozak, because you have always brought me people for every 4 years. You know, I send out an email and say, hey, do you guys know anybody? Well, and after I don't get a response, I just give up and just try to do it myself or try to reach out to the people that have done it. But that's also on me. And so next year, I will try to be more proactive so we have a larger list of people to look at. And again, hopefully a feeder program for people that may want to get more involved as aldermen or run for mayor, things like that, so.
Can I, one other, as a comment to that, which is good. I mean, we have a marketing director now. Could we put a blast out on the website or put something out on Notify Me that, hey, here's some seats that might be available next year? You know, does anyone interested in being on the park board? Anyone interested in being on the library board or CDA? This is what they do. You know, maybe just a periodic, here's what the CDA does, we need people. I mean, we've got a full-time marketing director that we're paying for. I think it'd be a good use of that time and that effort, so.
Well, the full-time marketing director, as you saw in your is no longer with us.
Right, we
But
have the position.
that position, that's a really good point. I think also what's important, I've learned in the same process, because I've made mistakes along the way here too, is that anybody that sends something in, it just goes into our little vat of stuff, but doesn't always come to me. I need to be more proactive with Diane, so anytime something comes, I give that person a phone call and just introduce myself, because sometimes they have stuff you just don't have any room for.
Right.
So I think that's a little bit of a learning lesson, but really kind of echoes off of that. Any other comments from Alderman? Alderman Spiegelberg.
This is just bouncing off that again. Also to let the committees and commissions appointees be aware of potentially putting a person forward, especially like architectural, you know, where they may have someone in their network that they can recommend if they're not going to be on anymore or if there's going to be a vacancy. Just, there's so many layers to this, I think, that we could take advantage of.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any other questions? Well, first, comments from the mayor before a couple proclamations. Hats off to all the newly elected officials and I'm really looking forward to this next 2 years. You guys are a high-functioning group of people. You're independent thinkers. You're just trying to do what's right for the city. I think as a council, we're doing extremely well. Doesn't mean we can't improve, but hats off to all of you in that process. And a lot to the people that have given their time, all the citizen appointments, all of our folks at our staff. Again, thank you very much, because when you're able to see behind the scenes, as I am in this role, there's a lot that goes on, and oftentimes the appreciation isn't very evident, and that's what I'm trying to do, is that I state to everybody that I really appreciate every single person here, even Stan. So, sorry I had to do that.
Always the attorney, always the attorney.
But, always the attorney, yeah. But,
Send a check or a bill every month.
we have a lot of stuff going on, and I think it's really, really cool. And a personal thank you to Matt Rozak and Matt Mulder, that we really engaged a lot in their roles as president and vice president, and we'll continue to do that, Karen, with you coming on board. But Matt, thank you very much, and Matt, because they are informed usually before you guys are, because I'm trying to get things moving in a direction. And so I try to utilize them a fair amount, and a fair amount means more time for them. And so thank you very much. Jennifer, I'm excited to have you on Plan Commission. You've come to so many of the Plan Commissions out of interest, and I know you're going to be fully engaged. Kevin, for 2 years on the Plan Commission, thank you. So the Plan Commission does a lot more than sometimes we all realize, and we did bring another Plan Commissioner on board that I think is going to add a whole nother element that will be really, really good for the community. So those are things that make me smile and, you know, bring me to work each day. But I'd like to read a couple proclamations for everyone here and for our community. Whereas the treatment and care of persons with intellectual disabilities has been a special project for assistance by the Wisconsin State Council Knights of Columbus. And whereas since 1974, the state and local councils of the Knights of Columbus have conducted an annual fundraiser in the communities of Wisconsin with proceeds of the endeavor donated to not-for-profit agencies servicing persons with intellectual disabilities. And whereas the Knights of Columbus, number 2487 of the city of Oconomowoc, will be joining other Knights of Columbus councils in the state by conducting a local fund drive for this worthwhile cause. Now therefore I, Robert P. Magnus, Mayor of the City of Oconomowoc, do hereby proclaim May 3rd through May 5th to be Knights of Columbus Days to aid persons with intellectual disabilities, and urge all citizens to take cognizance of the special events arranged for this time. Dated this 16th day of April 2024. A lot of incredible groups and communities here in the city of Oconomowoc. Another proclamation, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of topsoil by wind and water, cutting heat and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas Oconomowoc has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for now 24 years and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now therefore, I, Robert P. Magnus, Mayor of the City of Oconomowoc, do hereby proclaim April 26, 2024 as Arbor Day in the City of Oconomowoc, and I urge citizens, all citizens, to support efforts to plant and care for our trees and woodlands and support our community's forestry program. This is dated today, April 16th, 2024. A lot of really cool things. My hat's off to everybody. And I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Alton McClough.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?